Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe the same one sitting on your nightstand or tucked in a drawer in your kitchen. Suddenly, one coin catches your eye. It looks ordinary, right? Just another brown piece of change. But what if I told you that this very penny could be worth $869,000 today? Yes, a single cent, minted in 1968, without a mint mark, can transform your life overnight. And before you roll your eyes and say, "Yeah, sure, my coffee costs more than a penny," stop right there. Coffee can't make you rich, but the right penny can. Here's the scary part. Most people have already tossed these pennies into Coinstar machines, unknowingly dumping away fortunes. Imagine finding out you had $1,000,000 penny but gave it away for nothing. That's not just heartbreaking, it's terrifying. Back in 1968, the U.S. Mint released billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. But hidden among them were rare no-mint mark varieties that today command values collectors are desperate to pay. And this is where your story could intersect with history. But how do you know if your old copper penny is the one worth almost $900,000? Let's dive into the details before you risk letting it slip through your fingers. 1968 was a pivotal year. The Lincoln Memorial design was still fairly new, having replaced the wheat penny in 1959. Pennies minted in Denver bore the D, and San Francisco coins carried the S. But some slipped through without any mint mark at all. Pure mistakes that today make them highly coveted. It's like buying a pack of baseball cards and finding one missing the player's name. At the time, you'd think it was a printing screw-up. Today, that mistake could send your kid to college. Coin collectors, or numismatists, treat these minting errors like buried treasure. Why? Because rarity equals value. And the rarer the coin, the higher the bids at auction. That's how we get from 1 cent to nearly $1,000,000. Picture standing at an auction hall, your heart racing as the auctioneer calls out numbers. 600,000, 650, 700. The bids climb higher, and before you know it, your penny, yes, your penny, has sold for more than your house is worth. Most people will never know they had one of these coins. The only way to avoid that tragic mistake is to learn how to identify one now. Look at the obverse side. No mint mark under the date. 1968. You might be holding the treasure. Check the condition. Mint state coins, shiny, sharp, untouched, can fetch astronomical prices. Seek professional grading. A coin slabbed by PCGS or NGC confirms authenticity and can multiply the selling price. When's the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket, instead of just dumping them in a tip jar? See what I mean? Because the clock is ticking. Every day, these coins vanish into circulation or are melted down. And every one lost forever means the ones remaining grow more valuable. If you don't check your change now, you might be walking past a fortune every single day. The answer could determine whether you make thousands or millions. If you find a 1968 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, you've struck gold, or copper, in this case. Right now, the market values top specimens at $869,000. But here's the kicker. With rarity increasing, future auctions may push prices even higher. Think about it. What would you do with nearly $1,000,000 from a penny? Pay off the mortgage? Travel the world? Finally retire? That's not just pocket change, that's life-changing wealth. And let's be honest. You'll never look at your couch cushions the same way again. Suddenly, spare change becomes potential early retirement money. Opportunities like this don't last. The number of high-grade coins is shrinking. And once they're gone, they're gone. The question isn't if these pennies will keep rising in value. The real question is, will you find one before it's too late? So here's what you do next. Go through your change. Check your old jars. Look in those shoeboxes tucked away in the attic. And when you do find a rare coin, don't sit on it. Get it authenticated, get it graded, and get ready to cash in. And if you want more insider strategies on coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't miss your chance to learn about the next coin that could change your life. Because the truth is, fortunes are hiding in plain sight, and the next one could be in your pocket. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it could change your life forever. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But what if I told you that one of the most ordinary-looking coins in America, the 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, has shocked collectors by reaching values of up to $641,000. A coin that was supposed to be worth 1 cent is now worth more than most houses. This isn't just about a penny. It's about opportunity. And before you laugh and say, "Who's going to pay that much for a shiny copper coin?" think about this. Collectors, investors, and even wealthy hobbyists are willing to spend fortunes on coins that you and I might overlook. That penny sitting in your kitchen drawer might just be the key to a future you never imagined. Now, don't click away just yet. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how a single penny can carry a story of history, rarity, and wealth. And by the end of this video, you'll be looking at every coin in your pocket with a whole new set of eyes. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. What makes the 2017 D Lincoln Memorial Penny so special? The year 2017 marked the final chapter for the Lincoln Memorial Penny design. Think about that. For decades, this design was the face of everyday transactions. The Lincoln Memorial sat proudly on the reverse side of billions of pennies, a tribute to history and tradition. Then suddenly it was gone. The era ended, replaced with new designs. And here's where the story gets interesting. Whenever a design comes to an end, the last mintings become instant treasures. The Denver Mint produced millions of these pennies, but only a handful hold the kind of perfection and rarity that make collectors' eyes widen. Tiny minting errors, flawless strikes, or coins preserved in pristine condition can push values into the hundreds of thousands. Imagine being the person who unknowingly held onto one of those coins for years, tossing it into a jar, only to find out it could fund an early retirement. How many times have you scooped up change without even glancing at it? How many fortunes have slipped through people's hands simply because they didn't know what to look for? That's the fear factor, missing out on life-changing money because of neglecting what seems ordinary. But there's also excitement here. Because if you know what to look for, if you train your eyes, your penny jar becomes a treasure chest. That's where opportunity lives. One collector shared a story of how he discovered a near-perfect 2017 D penny in circulation. He sent it off for grading, and the value skyrocketed into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Picture that moment. He thought it was just pocket change. Instead, it became a passport to wealth. And who's to say that couldn't be you? Why are collectors willing to pay such astronomical amounts for this coin when billions were minted? That's what makes this story deeper than just copper and zinc. The answer lies in rarity within abundance. Yes, millions were minted. But true rarity isn't about how many coins exist. It's about how many survive in flawless condition, untouched, uncirculated, or marked by rare minting errors. Those are the coins that turn heads at auctions. Those are the coins that sell for $641,000. Time is your enemy here. Every day that passes, coins in circulation get scratched, worn down, or tossed aside. That means the pool of valuable 2017 D pennies is shrinking. What's sitting in your pocket right now might be worth far more than you think, but only if you act before it's too late. Think about what $641,000 could do. Pay off the mortgage. Retire early. Travel the world. Secure your family's future. Or simply enjoy the satisfaction of knowing you spotted value where others saw nothing. And here's the twist. The wealthiest coin collectors in America are constantly searching. They are hunting for people like you who stumble upon these coins. Which means your penny isn't just a coin. It's leverage. It's bargaining power. It's your entry into a market where ordinary people strike extraordinary deals. Check your change. Search your jars. Look at every 2017 penny that crosses your path. Examine the D Mint mark. Inspect for sharpness, errors, and condition. Because the only thing scarier than finding out you had a rare penny is realizing you spent it on a cup of coffee. And if you think that's dramatic, let me remind you, fortunes have been lost in vending machines. That's not a joke. It's reality. The 2017 D isn't the only coin like this. In fact, there are other modern coins in circulation right now that could be worth even more. And in my next video, I'll reveal which ones are quietly making ordinary people wealthy. For now, do not underestimate the power of a penny. Because history has shown us time and again, wealth hides in plain sight. If this video opened your eyes and made you rethink the change in your pocket, then hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss the strategies, the stories, and the secrets of coins worth millions. Turn on notifications, and stay tuned, because the next rare coin might just be sitting in your wallet at this very moment. Wealth doesn't always come from hard labor or risky investments. Sometimes it comes from a penny that everyone else ignored. Imagine emptying your pockets one evening and finding a simple penny. Nothing special, right? Just another copper coin you've flipped into a parking meter or tossed on the counter without a second thought. But what if I told you that very same coin, a 2008 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, could secretly be worth more than a luxury car, a sprawling house, even more than some retirement accounts combined? Today, that unassuming little penny carries a market value of $800,000. Yes, $800,000, for a coin most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. Create urgency with fear and curiosity. Now here's the kicker. Most people have already spent theirs without even realizing what they had. That means every time you drop a penny into a tip jar or feed it into a vending machine, you might literally be giving away a fortune. How many times have you done that without thinking? We complain about gas prices, but how many of us have literally handed over a coin that could pay for a year's worth of fill-ups just because we were too distracted to look closely? Makes you want to check under the couch cushions right now, doesn't it? In this video, we'll uncover why the 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny is unlike any other. We'll walk through the historical background, the rare errors that drive its astronomical value, the mistakes that could cost you hundreds of thousands, and the strategies collectors use to spot and sell these coins for top dollar. And along the way, I'll share a personal story of how one overlooked penny changed everything for a man who almost threw away his financial freedom. So before you dismiss that jar of pennies in your kitchen, let me show you how one tiny oversight can mean the difference between an ordinary life and a wealthy one. Because in Act 2, we're diving straight into the history of this coin, and the secrets most dealers don't want you to know. The 2008 penny seems modern, ordinary, but it marks the final years of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse. The following year, 2009, the U.S. Mint released the bicentennial Lincoln cents with 4 different designs. That makes the 2008 penny the last full year of a design collectors had known for half a century. Scarcity and timing matter, and when combined with minting errors, you get the recipe for a millionaire's coin. Normally, pennies struck in Denver bear a D, and those from San Francisco carry an S. When no mint mark appears, it signals Philadelphia. But here's the twist. Error strikes and misprints on these no mint mark coins make certain specimens astronomically valuable. Only a handful have been verified in pristine condition with unique doubling or striking anomalies, and that's where the $800,000 valuation comes in. Think of it like finding a golden ticket. Most people will only ever hold pennies worth exactly 1 cent. But you, if you're lucky, might hold a coin that changes your financial destiny. We chase lottery tickets and scratch-offs, spend money on all kinds of get-rich-quick schemes, but ignore the little copper discs jingling in our pockets. Irony at its finest. Key details collectors look for crisp edges, no circulation wearers like double die obverse off-center strikes sharp luster and mint-state condition. But here's the dangerous part. Many coins that look valuable are worthless fakes or ordinary pennies. If you don't know how to separate treasure from trash, you could be either scammed or left holding nothing more than pocket change. In just a moment, I'll show you the red flags that could save or cost you a fortune. For every genuine $800,000 2008 penny out there are thousands of lookalikes. Some scammers even clean coins with chemicals to trick beginners, and that one mistake can burn your chances of ever selling it for big money. Pattern interrupt with a rhetorical question. Let me ask you something. How many times have you stared at your loose change and thought, "This is worthless"? Well, after today, I promise you'll never look at pennies the same way again. I once met a retired mechanic who kept a coffee can full of pennies in his garage. For years, that can collected dust, until one day he read about rare coins and decided to take a closer look. At the very bottom, hidden under years of grease and grime, was a 2008 no-mint mark penny in near-mint condition. Appraisers confirmed it was worth over $500,000. He told me it felt like he had been sitting on a buried treasure chest all those years, never knowing it. That discovery paid off his mortgage, funded his grandchildren's college, and turned his ordinary retirement into the kind of freedom most people dream about. Don't underestimate what looks small, ordinary, or forgotten. Wealth often hides in plain sight. That penny in your pocket might look like a simple piece of copper, but under the right circumstances, it becomes a ticket to financial independence. Call to action with urgency and inspiration. So here's your next step. Go check your change, your coin jars, your old boxes in the attic. Because while you're watching this, someone else is discovering the fortune you've overlooked. Don't let that be your story, because the world of rare coins doesn't stop with the 2008 penny. There are other coins out there right now worth millions, and most people are spending them at grocery stores. If you want to know which coins to watch for, and how to avoid the traps that keep most people broke, make sure you subscribe. Trust me, the next video might just save, or make, you a fortune. Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground, tossed it in your pocket, and thought, well, at least I'm a penny richer? What if I told you that same habit could one day make you a millionaire? Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we're diving into a story that's going to turn your view of pennies upside down, especially the mysterious 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin that looks ordinary yet has shocked collectors with a jaw-dropping value of over $746,000. Now, before you laugh it off and say, who in their right mind would pay nearly $750,000 for a penny? Stick with me. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to see how history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn pocket change into life-changing money. Have you ever thrown pennies in a jar, thinking they'd never matter? Well, that jar might secretly be your retirement plan. And if you think I'm joking, just wait. This is more than just a story about a coin. It's about opportunity. And it's about recognizing hidden value when the world tells you something is worthless. That's where true wealth begins. Let's step back for a moment. The 2013 penny doesn't look like much. No mint mark, no glittering gold, no diamonds pressed into the copper. Just Abraham Lincoln's familiar face, sitting there as if he's silently daring you to ignore him. And that's where the danger lies, the fear of missing out on what's right in front of you. Rarity, condition, and collector demand. Think of it like real estate. 2 houses on the same street, same floor plan, but one has flawless construction and unique history. Which one skyrockets in value? The same applies to coins. The no-mint mark era of 2013 is like finding that flawless house in a world full of cookie-cutter properties. Few were struck without the identifying mint mark, making them extremely scarce. Combine that with the right grade, meaning no scratches, no discoloration, and suddenly, you're staring at a penny that could buy you a mansion. Most people who own these pennies don't even know it. Imagine digging through change, paying for a coffee, and handing over a $746,000 fortune without realizing it. Scary thought, isn't it? That's why urgency matters. Because every day that passes, another person may unknowingly spend one of these rare coins. And when they're gone, they're gone. Let me pause with a quick humor break, because I can feel your heart rate rising. If you've ever dropped a penny between your car seats and decided it wasn't worth fishing out, you might want to start rethinking your life choices. That single lost coin could have bought you a brand new truck, maybe even the dealership. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Lincoln penny has always carried weight beyond its face value. It's a piece of American history. Introduced in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday, it's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. That alone makes collectors emotional, because owning one isn't just about money, it's about holding on to a piece of the nation's legacy. Now add a once-in-a-lifetime era to that? The result is electrifying, and just when you think the story has peaked, here comes the cliffhanger. Because the 2013 penny isn't the only modern coin to explode in value. There are other everyday coins sitting in people's pockets right now worth hundreds of thousands. Which ones? We'll get to that soon. So let's circle back. The 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, plain to the untrained eye, has a current market value of $746,000. Think about what that means. That's not just a coin, that's a life-changing moment waiting for the right person to discover it. But here's the bigger lesson. Wealth often hides in plain sight. Opportunities rarely announce themselves with flashing lights and sirens. They sit quietly, waiting for someone with curiosity and courage to notice. Most people dismiss pennies. Most people dismiss opportunities that look too small. And that's exactly why they stay broke while others get rich. Now, I promise you another twist. The penny you're searching for isn't just about 2013. Across the decades, from 1909 all the way to today, there are Lincoln cents with hidden value, double dies, off-center strikes, no-mint marks, wrong planchet errors. Each one is a treasure chest disguised as pocket change. And if you're thinking, I'll never find one, let me tell you, someone has to. Why not you? Fear keeps people from acting. Excitement pushes us forward. Urgency forces us to make a decision. Right now, the decision is simple. Do you keep ignoring the coins you touch every day? Or do you start paying attention and claim the wealth hidden in plain sight? I'll leave you with a personal story. Years ago, I nearly gave away a coin collection my grandfather left behind. I thought it was nothing but loose change. But after a closer look, I realized one coin alone was worth thousands. That moment taught me a lesson I'll never forget. What looks ordinary may be extraordinary if you're willing to look closer. So here's my call to action. Check your pockets. Check your jars. Check those dusty coin albums sitting on a shelf. Because your millionaire moment might already be in your hands. And if you want more stories like this, more hidden gems that could change your life, then make sure you subscribe right now. Don't wait, because the next video might reveal the exact coin that's sitting in your house at this very moment, quietly holding the power to change your future. Imagine walking into a gas station, buying a soda, handing over a penny for change, and realizing later that single coin could have bought you a mansion. Sounds impossible, right? But the 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny is doing exactly that today. One of these unassuming copper-plated coins, minted in Denver, is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $913,000. That's right, less than $1 turning into nearly $1 million. Emotional trigger, fear and excitement. Now here's the scary part. You might already have held one in your hands and let it slip away without even knowing. The excitement? You still have a chance to find one, because rare coins don't disappear, they hide in plain sight, waiting for sharp eyes to uncover them. I remember cleaning out my father's old toolbox, finding a rusty coffee can filled with pennies. At the time I thought, who keeps pennies? They're useless. Years later, I discovered one of them could have been worth enough to retire early. That thought haunted me, and it set me on a path to dig into coin collecting. Trust me, you don't want to make the same mistake. By the way, have you noticed that pennies are like socks? You always have too many when you don't need them, but never the right one when you do. But unlike socks, some of them can literally fund your dream retirement. So what makes the 1995 penny so special? Why are collectors willing to pay nearly $1 million for it? Stick with me, because the answer is more shocking than you think. The Lincoln Memorial Penny series started in 1959, replacing the wheat design. By 1995, the Denver Mint produced millions of coins. At first glance, the 1995 penny looks ordinary, Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But rarity isn't always about how many were made, it's about survival, condition, and errors. Millions of these pennies were spent on candy, gum, parking meters, and arcade games. Most were scratched, dented, and tossed into circulation. But only a few survived in pristine, untouched condition. And here's the kicker. Missing one of these near-perfect coins could cost you generational wealth. The most valuable examples aren't just shiny, they're nearly flawless, graded at the highest levels by professional services like PCGS and NGC. Collectors pay extraordinary sums for them because they represent perfection in an imperfect world. Imagine holding a coin that looks like it was minted yesterday, despite being 30 years old. That's what drives prices up to $913,000. How many times have you dropped a penny, shrugged, and left it on the floor? Somewhere out there, a janitor probably swept up $500,000 into a dustpan. But here's the twist: value doesn't just come from condition. There are hidden varieties and errors tied to the 1995 penny that push its worth into the stratosphere. And this is where most people miss out. Coming up, I'll reveal the exact error you should be looking for, and it's so subtle, you might need a magnifying glass. Miss it, and you could walk away from a life-changing fortune. Some 1995 pennies have slight die issues, weak strikes, or unusual doubling that set them apart. The double die varieties are the most famous from this era. Collectors hunt these relentlessly because they are scarce, and scarcity drives the bidding wars. The coin market moves fast. What's affordable today might double in price tomorrow. A coin that's worth $913,000 today could cross the $1 million mark within the next decade. That means the longer you wait, the greater the chance of losing out forever. Think about the regret of discovering too late that you once had one of these coins in a change jar, but you gave it to a vending machine. That single moment of carelessness could cost you a lifetime of financial freedom. But imagine the opposite: catching one before anyone else does. Turning a single penny into enough cash to pay off debts, travel the world, or pass on a fortune to your children. That's not just money, that's legacy. If you woke up tomorrow with $913,000 extra in your bank account, what's the first thing you'd do? New house? Sports car? Or maybe finally say goodbye to your boss? And before we wrap up, there's one more secret I need to share. The 1995 penny isn't the only modern coin hiding $1 million potential. But if you want to know which ones are next, you'll have to stay tuned for my upcoming videos. The 1995 Lincoln Memorial Penny proves one truth: wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Don't underestimate the power of knowledge, because the difference between an ordinary penny and $1 million coin is simply knowing what to look for. Dig into your old jars, check your piggy banks, and search your pocket change. Your future could be hiding in plain sight. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, knowing which coins to collect, sell, or hold, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and join me on this journey to turning pocket change into real wealth. Time is ticking. Rare coins don't wait around forever. The 1995 penny already changed one person's life. Will it change yours next? Imagine pulling out a dull brown penny from your pocket change and realizing it's worth more than your house. Sounds crazy, right? But the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny has shocked collectors with its staggering value, reaching as high as $753,000 in today's market. Now let's pause for a second. That penny you left sitting in your junk drawer could be the ticket to a wealthy lifestyle, the difference between worrying about bills and living in financial freedom. But here's the part most people don't realize: if you spend it, lose it, or fail to recognize it, you might be throwing away a fortune without ever knowing it. That fear of missing out is real, and millions of people have already passed up valuable coins without a second thought. You're about to learn exactly what makes this coin so rare, why collectors chase it, and how you can identify whether you're sitting on a jackpot. By the end of this video, you'll know the secrets dealers don't always want you to know. And yes, there's a chance you have one already. By the way, if you think pennies aren't worth collecting because they can't even buy a stick of gum anymore, stick around. This one could buy you the whole candy factory. The Lincoln Memorial Penny was introduced in 1959, honoring Lincoln's 150th birthday. But by 1972, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing billions of coins, yet not all were equal. Among the countless ordinary pennies, some were struck with a doubling error on the obverse, Lincoln's face and the inscriptions, creating what collectors now call the famous double die. Now, here's where the story takes a turn. You might think a tiny flaw wouldn't matter. After all, a penny's just a penny. But this error transformed an everyday coin into a treasure. So, how does a small mistake turn into a six-figure prize? It all comes down to scarcity and condition. Only a fraction of 1972 pennies carry this doubling effect. And when found in mint state condition, free of scratches, luster still glowing, they become lightning rods for collectors. Auctions have seen them climb toward $750,000, with bidding wars breaking out like Wall Street on fire. Imagine being the person who actually found it while buying a soda in the 80s. 1 penny in, $753,000 out. That's better odds than Vegas. I remember the first time I heard about this coin. I was sorting through an old coffee tin of pennies my grandfather kept. To me, it was just spare change for the gumball machine. But he stopped me, pulled out a magnifying glass, and said, "Son, one of these could change your life." At the time, I laughed. Now, I understand exactly what he meant. Every day, people unknowingly spend coins like this. They hand them over at gas stations, grocery stores, even toss them into fountains. Each time, they're giving away what could have been their dream retirement. Imagine watching someone else get rich off the penny you let go. Here's what to look for. On the 1972 no mint mark penny, examine Liberty and In God We Trust. On the obverse, if you see clear doubling, letters looking thicker or shadowed, you may be staring at a jackpot. Condition matters. Circulated coins can still bring big money, but uncirculated gems are where the real fortune lies. Hold on to that thought, because the selling process is just as crucial as the discovery itself, and one wrong move could cost you hundreds of thousands. The current market value of this rare penny can soar up to $753,000. Auction houses, online platforms, and private collectors all hunt for it like treasure seekers. But here's the key: you must get it authenticated by a reputable grading service before approaching buyers. Without certification, it's just another penny in their eyes. Think of it like trying to sell a Ferrari without the keys. You can wave your arms all you want, but no one's paying top dollar unless they know it's legit. The smartest sellers work with trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC, then place the coin into high-profile auctions. That's where the bidding wars begin, and where six-figure checks change hands. Imagine the thrill of holding that coin, knowing it could pay off your mortgage, buy you a vacation home, or secure a wealthy retirement. One tiny piece of copper with the power to rewrite your financial future. So check your change, dig through your jars, and revisit those dusty collections. The 1972 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny isn't just history, it's opportunity, waiting to be claimed. If you found this video valuable, don't stop here. There are dozens of other coins hiding in plain sight worth staggering amounts of money. Subscribe now and join the community of collectors and treasure hunters who are turning spare change into financial freedom. Because the next life-changing coin could already be in your hands. You're standing in line at the grocery store, jangling a handful of pennies in your pocket. To everyone else, they're just small change. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, yes, that little copper coin from 1967 with no mint mark, could be worth nearly $1 million? Imagine paying for a pack of gum and accidentally handing over a coin that could have set you up for life. Now, before you laugh and say, "Yeah, sure, a penny worth more than my house," let me stop you. Because the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is exactly that kind of coin. Rare, mysterious, and shockingly valuable. Today, we're talking about a coin with a current market value of $912,000. That's right, less than $1 shy of $1 million, sitting in someone's old coffee jar or dusty coin folder. Most people have been walking past wealth their entire lives, disguised as pocket change. And if you're not paying attention, you might be letting opportunities slip through your fingers. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, not only will you know how to spot one of these life-changing pennies, but you'll also understand why they're worth so much, how to protect your collection, and what steps to take if you discover you've got one. And believe me, you do not want to miss the moment when I reveal the detail that separates a 1-cent trinket from a $912,000 fortune. And by the way, have you ever accidentally thrown away money? Maybe you washed a 20 in your jeans? Multiply that feeling by 45,000 and you'll know what it feels like to lose one of these pennies. In 1967, the US Mint was going through a fascinating period. They were cutting costs, experimenting with production, and, get this, removing mint marks from coins altogether for 3 years, from 1965 to 1967. That means every penny from 1967 doesn't show a mint mark. But not all 1967 pennies are created equal. Some have hidden traits that collectors and investors fight tooth and nail to own. This is where things get interesting. The Lincoln Memorial design was supposed to be mass-produced, ordinary, forgettable. Yet within that sea of billions of coins, a few rare survivors turned out to be extraordinary. Coins that slipped through with striking errors, unusual die conditions, or remarkably high grades. Those are the golden tickets. Now, let's address the million-dollar elephant in the room. Why would anyone pay $912,000 for a penny? 3 reasons: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity is obvious. Only a tiny handful of these coins exist in such pristine condition. Condition is everything. A 1967 penny pulled from your couch cushions might buy you a cup of coffee at best. But a flawless, uncirculated specimen? That's the one that makes headlines. And demand, well, collectors and wealthy investors will pay outrageous sums to own what others cannot. It's like owning a classic car. Most old cars are scrap metal. But a perfectly restored, one-of-a-kind Mustang? That's worth millions. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait a second, I've got a jar of pennies at home. Am I sitting on a fortune? Let me answer with a maybe. Or as my wife likes to say when I ask if I'm losing hair. Technically, yes, but not in the way you think. Many people already had one of these pennies in their possession and didn't know it. They spent it. Tossed it. Or worse, the bank melted it down. Every time one disappears, the value of the survivors goes up. So, the clock is ticking. Every day, these pennies become harder to find, which means their price climbs higher. That's opportunity lost if you don't act now. Imagine the moment. You flip over a penny in your collection, hold it up under the light, and realize you're staring at the kind of condition that auction houses drool over. Suddenly, that tiny coin transforms into a retirement plan, a debt-free home, or a college fund for your kids. Now you might wonder, what's the exact detail that makes a 1967 penny worth $912,000? That's the cliffhanger I promised. Stick with me, because we're about to break it down. The secret is in the strike and grade. Out of the billions minted, only a handful were preserved in immaculate condition, known as mint state 67 or higher. A perfect example looks as if it was minted yesterday: sharp details, no scratches, no discoloration. Combine that with certain striking errors, like double dies or off-center features, and suddenly you've got a coin collectors will pay nearly $1 million to secure. This is why you can't just glance at your change and assume it's worthless. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC exist for a reason. They authenticate, grade, and certify coins. A certified mint state 67 1967 penny? That's where the $912,000 figure comes from. Now here's the urgency. These coins are selling at record highs right now. With inflation, rising gold prices, and investors hunting for tangible assets, rare coins are becoming the ultimate safe haven investment. Meaning, the 1967 penny's value could climb even higher. First, don't clean it, ever. A well-meaning polished job can knock tens of thousands off its value. Next, get it authenticated. And finally, decide whether to keep it as a long-term investment or cash out and secure life-changing money. If you think the 1967 penny is impressive, wait until you hear about the coins from the early 1980s that collectors are fighting tooth and nail over. That story makes this one look like pocket change, and I'll be covering it in my next video. So here's the bottom line. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is not just a coin, it's a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures hide in plain sight. A penny worth nearly $1 million is proof that wealth is often where most people never bother to look. Don't ignore this knowledge. Check your collections. search your jars. And more importantly, stay informed, because the coin collecting world is full of surprises. If you want to build wealth from coins, live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of, and make sure you never miss out on the next $912,000 discovery, subscribe now. Hit that bell icon, because the next video might just reveal the coin sitting in your pocket that could change your life forever.